All right, let's do this.
A funny thing happened to me on my way to invading Earth. I am your worst nightmare. Believe that.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man, Vera, and I'm holding it down. Yes, so welcome to another live episode of Catch the Craze. We're going to have a very special guest on the show. His name is Kevin Stewart. He's going to be talking about kool-aid and going down now on Indiegogo. But until he comes on the show, I'm holding it down alone. George is getting ready to travel. He's going away for the holidays. But we did record our holiday episode today, which is airing on Friday. So you want to check that out. But with that said, to everybody out there, have a safe and happy, merry holiday. We appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all for sticking around with us and growing with us. And we're hoping that 2022 becomes even bigger and better for the craze and the independent community. With that said, I do want to talk about duty. So here is a special preview of the prototype box for why does it look crazy? The lighting here is kind of odd. But anyway, here's the prototype box for There's an Alien in My Toilet. There's a lot of glare from the lights. Let me see if I turn that light off right there. Oh, boom. Let me see. There's a lot of blues in here. I don't know. Anyway, so there's the prototype box for the prototype doll of There's an Alien in My Toilet. It's a 7.5 inch tall figure, 4 inches depth and 5 inches wide. There's only 7 in the existence of duty. I created this to pitch to toy manufacturers. And there were 7 in existence. I sold 1 of the 7. I own 6. And this one, number 2 of 7, is going to be available on the campaign, on the Kickstarter campaign. Now, mind you, it's not a toy. It's a prototype. That means it wasn't officially approved by the Toy Commission for safety for kids and all that other stuff. This is really for collectors. And one collector owns one of these. So, and I own the other 6. And one of these is going to be available on the Kickstarter campaign, which launches February 15th. What's up, Michael San Martino? Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas. And you want to check out the Christmas special on Friday. And so one of these, I gotta get the light. I don't know what the hell, but hopefully you can see this. This is the box. And so this is going to be available on the Kickstarter. Only one's going to be available. I'm only putting one up, but a collector with deep pockets is going to be able to own that. We sold one back at the Big Apple Comic Con in 2007 to a big Duty fan. And so we're hoping to find another fan of Duty on that campaign that we launch on the 15th of February. It's going to be fun. There's a trading card game. There's a coloring book. There's the comic book. There's the guidebook. There's a whole lot of stuff coming down with this campaign. It's going to be fire. And I'm excited about that. And so today, this afternoon, George and I did a pre-recording for our holiday special. And we also have a guest that's on that show. It'll air this Friday. And basically, we did a quick reminisce of the year. And we talked about gift giving. And a big shout out to everybody out there who's been supporting us on Catch the Craze. Now, we've been struggling to get to 500 subscribers of our channel. And I noticed that we lost 2 subscribers today. So I don't know if there were guests that once their show aired and they decided to just bail. So it's been a struggle just to get to 500. So we're hoping that if you're watching the show right now, if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio or Pandora, or Spotify, during the streaming channels, that you come over to YouTube and subscribe. You know, we want to get to 1,000 in the year 2022. You know, we had a big year this year in 2021, over 240 new subscribers to the channel, and we appreciate every single one of you. And we're hoping that we get bigger, because the bigger that the more exposure we get, the more exposure to all our indie creators like Michael Sammartino and his comic book Tech the Gods. If you don't know what that is, check out What's in the Box. I did 2 episodes for issues 1 and 2, and yeah, so we're excited. So Duty's coming. There's going to be variant covers. It really is this cover A, B, and C. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is cover B, which is an homage to Rambo. And there's another cover coming up that you'll see on the campaign. It's going to be Fuego. I'm so excited about bringing this little character to life. You know, I created him back in 2005, and you know, he had a lot of success. If you haven't seen the promos to the story behind Duty, go check it out on YouTube right now. There's 2 episodes already. Every Sunday is going to be a new episode of the history of Duty. And the first 2 episodes are really looking back, and the next episode is going to be moving forward. What's up, Pyramid Graphic Novels? In the house. Happy holidays, brother. And so, yes, if you haven't seen the history of There's Nail in My Toilet, there's already 2 episodes up there. And the third one will be up on Sunday. So again, the first 2 episodes was a look back, and the next episode is going to really be a look forward. I think this next episode that airs on Sunday goes into the design of the box, the toy box, and how I designed it, and you know, the colors I chose, and all those other things, and why I'm doing it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm excited. You know, my sister and my wife are heading over here from New Jersey. My wife's been in New Jersey since we moved here because she had work. And she finally gave her notice, and she's coming here permanently. And so she's coming with my sister, and they'll be here Thursday. So I'm excited about that. You know, since I've been here alone this whole time with just my animals. So I'm excited about, you know, that. And my sister coming out to Texas for the first time. It's going to be really cool. But yeah, what to look forward to in 2022. I mean, we have a lot of shows in the pipeline, a lot of cool guests coming down the pike. We have a Christmas episode this Friday, and then we have a New Year's episode coming up in the new year, where we're going to look back and, you know, at our top 10 favorite episodes that George and I have for 2021. And if you have any top shows, you know, let us know. Put that in the comments. Any shows you want us to reflect on, show a clip from, any highlights. But that's going to be a fun show. And what else? George has Wonder Duck. He's getting ready to launch that. His launch page goes up January 5th, I believe, for Wonder Duck, The Adventures of Wonder Duck. So that's going to be dope. And so, yeah, 2022 is a big year. We introduce, you know, I know, Home Alone. Yo, dude, it's crazy. I don't know if it was just because I'm alone, but I fell down the stairs 3 times since I've been here. So it's not. Don't walk barefooted on carpet stairs. It's not fun. Those carpeted stairs are slippery when you're barefoot. Yeah, I snapped my ankle chasing my dogs around, playing hide and seek. That was no good. Yeah, it's been interesting, but Yeah, so it's cool. So the whole goal for 2022 is really be more specific, more measurable. We're gonna have some new looks to the actual page. I'm leaving Restream in 2022, and I'm leaving Zoom in 2022. We're going straight full on StreamYard. So right now I've been using Restream and Zoom, and I'm eliminating those two. They're just not cost effective, and going straight to StreamYard. So we're changing that platform for guests, and there's been a lot of guests who had trouble trying to figure out Zoom anyway. And so we're doing that in 2022. We're refacing the promo cards for the guests. So that's going to look a little different for 2022. Every year I change the face of the promo cards when we have guests. So that's going to be, it's going to have a new look. It's going to be fun. And there's some new things we're working on for 2022. And hopefully we're locking in. George and I are still debating on our appearances in 2022 and what conventions and what we're going to do. So again, still in the works. We're still debating on what to come. But with that said, again, it's been crazy out there. There's been a lot of road rage out there. There's been a lot of short tempers at the airports, at the supermarkets, on those long lines waiting to be tested. And when you go out there, be safe, be aware. Don't keep your eyes down. Be very mindful of your surroundings. It's just a lot of people who are just have a lot of built up stress from all this craziness, and they're taking it out on others and regretting it afterwards. But just be safe out there. Yeah, book 3. I can't wait to see what happens with Cliff. Yeah, let's see if he can sustain being the point man and not relying on all the girls, Cliff. So with that said, I do see that our guest is in the waiting room. So I'm going to give a shout out to the girls from Raging Cajun and give them love because they're trying to grow their channel. So we're going to run to this break and we're going to come back with Kevin.
Hey there, this is Meredith Loughran with Ragin', and I wanted to let you know that we encourage and promote independent creators and their projects through organic interaction, consultations, and more. Visit Nita and me at RaginAVC.com for details and contact information. Hit the button.
All right, we're bringing in Kevin Stewart, creator of kool-aid, going on now on Indiegogo. What's up, buddy? Waiting for your audio.
How's that?
There you go. There
All
it
right.
is. All right, what's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to the craze. You got this fantastic. The artwork is fantastic. You got this fantastic concept, but we don't want to talk about that just yet. We want to talk about you. So, who are you?
Just a lonely, starving artist.
Right? I know there's like a long line of that. Right? So where'd you grow up?
Actually, I'm born and raised Tennessee.
Tennessee. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what did you do growing up as a kid? What were you into?
Getting in trouble most of the time in school. I spent most of my youth scribbling and scratching drawings in class while I should have been paying attention, which probably explains why I'm a starving artist and not a well-paid engineer.
So at what point when you were growing up and getting into trouble, at what point did you realize you liked to draw?
I think it was when I drew a Bart Simpson for like a 5th grade DARE contest.
Right.
The drug contest, anti-drug contest. I drew a Bart Simpson. I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So I kind of got into the Ninja Turtles when that came out. It was real big, and I drew them all the time. And kind of just from there, I just was sketching all the time. I was just scribbling anything I could get my paper and a pencil and whatever ideas I can come up with. I did that for a really long time. Didn't really complete anything. It was a lot of just sketching. And it really wasn't until about 2010 when I got selected. This guy asked me to do a comic for him.
Right.
Never drawn sequential artwork before, so I went ahead and did it anyways. We drew out the first book of Corey the Zombie Killer. It was his creation, his world. And it turned out really well. It sold all the copies that he printed, which I think he only got like 100, but got decent reviews across the board, and just kind of went from there. Kind of left him, got picked up by another publisher, did another couple books, and here I am working on my own stuff now.
So I just want to go back for a second. You said that you did a Bart Simpson piece for an anti-drug campaign.
Yeah.
You thought that was just going to slip under the rug? Yeah. So, so why Bart Simpson for the campaign?
I was a kid, and he seemed like an easy character to draw. As long as you get the 9 points, like he had 9 spikes on his head. That was my whole thing. And I started kind of practicing drawing all the Simpson characters, and it was just an easy character to draw. And I was a kid. I was 5th grade. So, that was Simpsons had just come out. It was big. And just kind of just fun, easy character.
Nice. So what was your first comic that you ever read?
Ever read? It was the Inferno Saga, the X Factor Inferno Saga. A cousin of mine had come down from, I think it was the time it was Delaware. I was so little when this came out, but I remember seeing the Mark Silverstreet cover of Mr. Sinister, like holding his hand out.
Yeah.
And all the X Factor X-Men characters were falling out of his hand.
Yeah.
And that comic got me. Like, I still remember that's my go-to comic.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of the best ones, I thought. Really cool story.
Now, at what point, so what point did you realize that you want to do this for a living or try to do this for a living?
Oh, it was when I got picked up, when I got selected to do that first comic book, and how it turned out. I impressed myself with it. I mean, I never done it before. The storytelling came across pretty decent. It was good, but I could tell I had a knack for it. And from there, it was, I got to see how I can make this work. And doing a couple of the books, going to college for graphic design, I did that for part-time. It took me 10 years to do it. Got my degrees. And I was in a situation where art really wasn't paying the bills. It's like I almost got started late in the game, it seems like.
Right.
But I still wanted to do it. I felt like that's where I needed to be. I needed to do comics, do art. So I just kind of worked some full-time gigs and then just try to do art on the side. And I'm pushing more and more of my time into doing the books, into doing the pins, just trying to get my artwork out there as much as possible to try to find something that'll catch on.
Right. So what did you learn from that experience doing that with that first project? What were your takeaways?
Well, I'd have to say it's probably knowing where I had faults, where my shortcomings were in the illustration process, character designs, or my biggest thing then was keeping consistency of the faces of the characters. So learning that I needed to focus more on my faults and get better at that. It was really time management. And that's something I struggle with for several years was trying to make sure I got the time put in to get the books done on a timely fashion. See, that first book took me like a year to do almost for one issue, but I couldn't need so much I could do. I was working full time, going to school. It was kind of hard to have a family. So going into the next publisher I worked for, I did a couple books there, and I did a graphic novel, and being like, it was a 72-page graphic novel, got that completed. It took me several years to do that. And that's my biggest thing was my time management, trying to get it done in a timely fashion. That's something I work on now, but it's gotten better. It's gotten incredibly better with the stuff I've worked on recently.
So compared to two, so how long did it take you to do a page then versus now?
Oh man, it'd probably take me a couple of days. It'd take me a couple of days to do the page because I'm struggling through the page layout, trying to design the page, draw the page in ways I haven't drawn before. So that was a big thing for me, is never doing sequential artwork, trying to visualize these panels and then put that on the paper was extremely difficult. But now, see, I'm 100% digital. So my speed is picked up greatly. I can go through a page. I can get a page done a day the way I'm going now. So that helps me out quite a bit.
And now, when you're saying you're doing the work, did you do pencils, inks, and colors, or just pencils and inks, or just pencils?
Just pencils and inks, yeah. Okay. And I was learning through that process too. So I finally developed from going pencil, then to blue line, and then minimizing details in blue line and inking primarily everything at that next stage. So I was trying to find my shorthands throughout the page process.
Right.
But with digital now, it's easy.
Right. So talk about your approach to a page. So you're given a script, and what's your first approach to a page?
I'm gonna go through that page and try to pick out the highlights. Depending on what kind of page I get, I've had scripts that come from just a general story for a whole page, or straight up panel by panel breakdown. The panel by panel is easier because I can take that, I can visualize the panel, and then what I try to focus on is how to make that panel read to the next panel, so the story is consistent, the visual story is consistent, and I don't lose the reader. So once I've kind of got that roughed out, I'll kind of sketch the whole page out, throw in some thumbnails, and then just go back over and refine that, and then take a step back, take a look at it, and see, does it make sense? Sometimes I catch it, sometimes I don't. Right. It's just part of the practice.
Right. So now you were talking about trying to find the consistency when you were illustrating faces. How did you master that? How did you overcome those challenges?
I'm still working on it. It's getting better. I'm trying to be conscious of the way the face looks, because my faces aren't super detailed. They're kind of half and half, but just trying to be conscious of what I'm doing. And with the digital, it makes it easier. I can go back and erase it and draw it 100 times. Right. So I'll just keep drawing it until it looks somewhat right to me. And I'll usually have my wife take a look at it and say, does this make sense? Right. And she'll be like, no, you need to go back and redraw this, and this. It helps to have someone look at it from the outside, because you get stuck on that page right. and what you're drawing, and you can't see it,
So how do you approach it? I know, like, as an example, when you're traveling somewhere, landmarks are a great way to remember how you got there and how to get back, right? Mm-hmm. I know that there was a McDonald's at this turn. I know that this was there. When you're tackling a face, do you look at, like, I know that the nose is supposed to point be this shape, and I know that the face is elongated rather than round or squared, or how do you approach it that way?
Yeah, I do. I try to look at it as a caricature, like, people draw those faces at the fairs and stuff. They'll draw your picture and you'll have these elongated features. Right. So I try to look at it that way and see if I can accentuate those features and bring those out to make it more recognizable in the character. I got a buddy who does a lot of portraits, and he'll send me what he's working on, and plus the picture of it that it is, and he'll say, what's wrong with this? And I can pick out those points, like, hey, you know what? Bring his eyes down, make him narrow, bring his eyes together, things like that. And that's what I look at when I do the character myself. I'm like, okay, his eyes are spread apart. I need to bring them in. Maybe his nose is thinner. I try to find those landmarks because it makes it helpful. It helps.
Absolutely. So what are some of the subject matters that you've been challenged to illustrate that you're going to have to put in work for that versus something else where that you've mastered that? What is it that you're like, damn, I got to draw this?
Oh, yeah. Stepping outside the comfort zone. Oh, man. I think big crowds of things, big crowds of people. I struggle with the buildings, inside the buildings, and trying to make them read correctly. Right. What else? I know there's some other things that just kind of like strike me difficult. Oh, just boring panels of just talking. Like also gestures of people when they're standing around doing nothing. Right. Like, where do you put your hands kind of thing? Right. Yeah, I struggle with that, and making those characters look real and not just stickmans with costumes over them,
Right. And so what
giving life to the picture.
Yeah. So what do you absolutely love to draw?
Oh man, it's horror, zombies, undead. I mean, just the horror side is like my bread and butter.
Right. So now I'm going to go back to that uncomfortable factor. So now you're given a page where you have a lot of talking heads. How do you give life to that? Oh,
changing the angles of where the camera's at, and sometimes bringing in ambient imagery. So I did a page of these characters driving across the desert,
Right.
And there's a lot of inside talking in this truck. So it's back and forth with the head. So I would try to make it where, for one example, like he's looking back behind him to talk to the guy. And I go to that guy's picture on the next panel. And then the next panel, I'll have the main guy who was talking to him with the visor down. And you see his reflection of his face in the visor talking to the guy. So I try to change up the imagery. Or, now I'll have another panel where they're driving off, the vehicle's driving off, and there's a cutaway to like a lizard on a rock. I've done that. So while they're still talking, it kind of gives you an idea of where they're at still, plus something new to look at besides heads back and forth. Because the more you see heads back and forth, it's static. It feels like there's no time has passed, and it's just boring.
Right.
So the more you can change that up and use your environment, use what's going on to your advantage to still retell, I think helps a lot.
Right. So I noticed that you have Dawn of the Dead behind you in the poster wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have the Dead. Dawn of the Dead, yeah. So what is it about zombies that you find appealing?
I think it was when I was a kid watching the original Night of the Living Dead. And then my buddies in junior high had picked up the theatrical version of Dawn of the Dead, the 78. I think it's 78 was what it was.
Is that the one with the zombies like more brains?
No, that's Return of the Living Dead.
Okay,
that's even better, actually. That's like my second favorite zombie movie. The Dawn of the Dead was when they were at the Monroe Mall.
The mall, yes.
Yeah.
And I have to go back and watch those again. It's been a long time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude, if you got to, they're awesome. What got me was that movie was them taking over that mall and then building out the mall into like a living area. Like they blocked off their doors. They started like building like living quarters upstairs. It was so cool. I saw that. I was like, man, that's exactly what I would want to do if I was stuck in a zombie situation. And then I just, from there, just went on. The gore doesn't really appeal to me. It's the character development and the action and the situation that they're in. That's probably why I like the Walking Dead TV show so much back when it came out. Now I got sick of it after like season 7 because I feel like it got redundant.
Yeah, I think that's one when I bailed out as well. Yeah,
it's right. I watched that last episode when Carl died. Mm-hmm. That was it. I was done. Not that I cared about that character. I was just like, I feel like they're just going in circles now.
Yeah. They're just that sometimes the networks get involved and they're just trying to stretch it as far as it can go
until it snaps.
Yeah. So what was it about the turtles that you found that you just were addicted to drawing it?
I think it was a cartoon. The cartoon was so appealing to me, and because I was always into the anime and the mangas back in the day. I would go rent those at the video store when I was like real young, and I'm watching these adult anime cartoons, and my grandmother doesn't, my mother doesn't know what I'm doing, but she sees these cartoons like, I forget it. It's all good. It's the action that was in that original opening trailer, the opening credits of the cartoon that pulled me in, and the simplicity of the character designs was something I picked up on, and that was pretty much what it was. I didn't really care about the story as much as just the characters was really cool looking, and then action.
So I see your reference, your influence from zombies. How much Kool-Aid did you drink as a kid?
I still drink Kool-Aid. What are you talking about?
Hey, Kool-Aid.
You got to flavor that water somehow.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so bring me back to that moment where that idea just came into your head.
It was a couple of years ago. It was 2018. I was working up north in the oil fields, and I had a lot of time on my hands. The job I was doing, I was spending about 15 hours a day sitting in a truck doing nothing. So me being autistic, I'm always trying to draw. So I bought a Surface Pro tablet, was I could draw on the go. I started messing around, and I saw there was a guy I follow on Instagram called Beast Direct. He does really cool pop culture illustrations and t-shirt designs and weird stuff like that. Well, he did a Kool-Aid man of like a pumpkin. It was good. And I saw that and I was thinking, okay, so he's mashed up these ideas together and he's created this character. And I was thinking, what could I do? Is there something I can do to make this work for me? Being that it's horror related, I was like, oh, son, let me try this. Let me put Leatherface's mask on the Kool-Aid man and see what it comes up with. I was like, okay, this works. I drew it out. I was like, this works. Now let me take it on. Let me do the other characters. So I did the rest of them. And so I had these characters sitting here drawn out, and I was thinking, these could be cool t-shirts. So I had the custom names. Each one had a really funny name and their character design. And I slapped on some shirts, and it just kind of sat there. It didn't do anything. So a year passes, and I had somebody hit me up, buddy of mine, who's now a buddy of mine, had me draw a pin for him. I did a design for the pin off of the movie Brain Dead, Peter Jackson's like Evil Dead movie he did a long time ago. So I designed a pin for him. He loved it. It went great. And then I was thinking, I bet I could turn those characters I got into pins because they fit the mold. They're small.
Right.
They would stand out, and that was it. I designed some card backings, came up with the theme for them, and I was off and running. As soon as I put that first pin out, tons of people bought into it, sold out, bought the next one. Then I've been going ever since.
Nice. So now, is there any plans for a comic book?
For the characters?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about doing a comic book yet. I have thought about expanding into like the Garbage Pail Kid cards,
right?
Like the stickers, you can fill them off and stuff.
Yeah, like a trading card set.
That. Yeah, like a trading card set. Yeah, because the front and back of the cards are built into the idea. So the back of the card is just as cool as the front of the card. It's got like the instructions, you know, everything you see on the back of a Kool-Aid packet.
Right.
It's on the back of this card, so it works as a trading card. And I had people ask me, you know, are you going to do trading cards with this? And I thought that's something that could probably come down the line. I could probably work that in to be affordable. It would fit into the niche, and I think it would do pretty well.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for this project that you have there, and I can see doing a comic strip, or web comic. You know, there's a lot of potential for it. So talk about what made you decide to bring it to Indiegogo the first time around.
Well, I launched the first set. I paid for each one of those separately. So it took me about a year to get the first set funded and brought in. So I thought I would try to do a batch launch this time, get all the pins designed for Series 2, and then launch on crowdfunding to see if that fan base is there. We could go ahead and just fund them all at one time, just to make it faster, because I'll fund each of them, you know, individually if I have to. But it was just a matter of trying something out, see if I could get a successful campaign going, because I do have plans to launch another campaign for my IP, my individual. Because I got a comic book that's coming out too, so I want to try to get a fan base built. So when I launch a comic book, maybe can bleed over and help that out. So it's just it was a try to get a small campaign, simple campaign funded and see how it works.
Right. I mean, because you know, I'm looking at this. I mean, you can do like stick-on tattoos. You can do a whole lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right. So so you funded on your first campaign. Your second campaign is up and running. It's on the screen right now. You have 28 days to go. How long is this campaign?
It was initially 60 days.
60 days.
So the first month it was really slow. You got a nice boost at the beginning, like I guess like most campaigns kind of do. Yeah. And it's kind of staggered out a little bit. It's starting to pick up now. A couple more people have thrown in some pledges. Really, it's with y'all's help. Doing the podcast tends to get several more people funded on the campaign because they can't get a chance to see it. So that's awesome. I think we're going to get the first pin funded, and I think people are waiting on the second pin to pop up so they can start funding on that too. I think we're going to see a nice little boost toward the end of the campaign, which ends on January the 18th.
January 18th. So why Indiegogo versus Kickstarter?
It kind of seems like Indiegogo has a good pin, like fan base. Like I see a lot of pins getting funded on Indiegogo.
Right. Okay.
And it was just I wanted to try it to see, because I know more people go Kickstarter. I haven't done Kickstarter. I've tried Indiegogo before, which I was more familiar with it.
Right. But
just not really any particular reason, really.
So tell me about your approach to your designs, because you definitely have, you can see where your education came into play with your approach for marketing. So walk me through your designs. I mean, you have, I'm not good with names. So you got Lemon Lime, you have Assimilatingly Awesome Arctic Blast. Tell me about that one.
Okay, so after doing the first series, I was tossed around the idea, because I'm trying to find horror characters of the 80s. I love all the horror icons. Cheesier the better, actually. I like some really B-rated horror characters, but I think people might miss the point on those. But the Thing was one of my favorite John Carpenter movies outside of Halloween. So I was thinking, how could I turn the Thing into the pin? And it was really a perfect situation. You remember that part in the movie when the head falls off the ceiling and it grows out the antennas?
I haven't seen
and
it
the spider
in a long
legs.
time.
Oh man, you gotta get updated on some movies, son.
I know. This is from the movie The Thing, right? The thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
the John Carpenter one.
Okay.
Yeah. So the most iconic creature in the whole movie was that head crab with
Okay.
the eyes that popped out of the head and the crab legs that popped out. So
Right.
taking that concept, I molded into the. I thought it'd be cool to make the Kool-Aid Man. To make my guy a thing. So
Right.
it was a simulatingly awesome Arctic Blast.
Nice.
It's all about the name too. You got to find a good cheesy name to go along with the character.
Yes, yes. I thought it was pretty cool. And you have, you got Sleepy Time Cinnamon Stream, which is fantastic. I mean, the design for that Freddy Krueger-esque is dope.
Thank you.
So tell me about that, your approach to that one.
It was trying to figure out how do I take a pizza-faced creature and mold it into a Kool-Aid jug. So I kind of thought about putting it behind the glass. So I tried to give the illusion that it's behind the glass and not part of the glass necessarily. So I guess a big old glass of nightmare.
Right.
Trying to keep the elements of that franchise fresh with the character. The background was a big part of it. Some characters don't have background, some do. And I think I try to just find out what works best to sell that character's idea.
Right, right. And generic flavor 5.
Oh, yes.
Where did that come from?
What's one of my favorite pins? This is another John Carpenter movie. I should break these down into director themes because most of these pins I've got are John Carpenter pins. But have you seen the movie They Live back in the 80s?
A long time ago, yeah.
So it's got Roddy Piper.
Yes. The aliens. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that's where the generic flavor comes because I do have one in there with Roddy Piper on it too, which is he's the first non-monster character in the series.
Is he a double barrel blast?
Yep. Double barrel bubble blast.
I recognize the hair.
That's right. The hair is what sells it, man.
Yeah.
The feather bangs, buddy.
Yes.
So I drew him first. Thought, well, he's got to have, I got to have a creature to go with it. So I drew, his counterpart in there. Because if you look at his glasses, you can see that character's in his glasses.
There you go. Look at that. See? Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at those little, what do you call those things? Easter eggs.
Ray-Bans?
Easter eggs. Or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, the Easter egg. Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic. It's funny because that's one of my favorite alien-esque movies. Was that They Live. Rest in peace, Roddy.
Yeah.
And your lemon lime. What's that from?
Well, you brought this up a minute ago. You asked, was it a zombie movie about where they said brains, more brains, right? But this is a take on the Tarman character from Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Now, granted, he is not as green as he is in this image, so it's kind of more of my character than it is the Tarman. But most people who are big fans of that movie will get the name of the flavor, lemon lime 2,4,5,
right?
Because in the show they got infected by 2,4,5 trioxin. So I'm trying to throw in the little Easter eggs, the attachments, so people know like, oh, I see that lemon lime 2,4,5. That must be from Return of the Living Dead.
Nice. So I noticed there's a standard outside of the assimilatingly awesome Arctic Blast. Everyone, their legs, at least mostly their legs, are positioned the same way. You use that for consistency?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, because that's the structure of the Kool-Aid Man is his feet, and I wanted to have some difference in the characters, not all of them having the same,
right?
The same pose. So I took advantage of the arms and used them in different ways.
Right. So now you have the Hunch Punch Horror. You have Cannibal Cherry Crush. That is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right. Yep.
Yes. That was one of the movies I couldn't see all the way through. To
be honest with you, that movie isn't. I didn't like. I've never seen the full movie, the original movie, all the way through. The remake is what I actually watched, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, it just for some reason when it was like it's loosely based on a true story, and I started empathizing with the people, and I was like, oh, I can't. I had to change the channel. Put a strawberry shortcake.
Person.
Then you have like the Strawberry Slash Bash. It's fantastic. And then the Painfully Pleasurable. Where's that from?
Hellraiser.
Ah, okay. There you go. There you go. And then you got the custom flavor sketch card illustration.
Mhm.
I like the design of your custom sketch card. I mean, there's a lot of again, you tap into a lot of potential for your property. I can see you spinning this in so many the ways. Your packaging. Tell me about how you approached the packaging, the designs, all that stuff.
Well, I had to keep it themed together, and being that a Killer Aid is a Kool-Aid, I had to figure out a way to make the package of a Kool-Aid package work with the pen, and I think I nailed it. I think I nailed it 100%. People love the cards, and just like the second series is so much different than the first series. I took it a little bit step further with the design on the cards. It's the same basic card, but I
Right.
took a lot more privilege, or not privilege, but I took steps forward to make the designs look more fresh, like it's a special edition Kool-Aid pack,
Nice.
with like the Arctic Blast has got like the cool looking like ice aspect to it. And
Yeah.
the cinnamon, the Sleepy Time cinnamon's got the fire, like it's hot cinnamon type stuff. I was thinking just how candy packages and Kool-Aid packages do different flavors, and they try to add just little pieces of elements that are different to differentiate. I can't even say the word. To make it different than the previous version.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I just want to acknowledge that we do have several people in the chat: Michael San Martino, Pyramid Graphic Novels, Grant Lankard, and Newbie Comics. I just want to say hello to all you guys. Happy holidays to everybody. And so, give me long-term vision for your property.
I would love for this to be in stores everywhere. I'm thinking long term with figurines. I'm in touch with a guy who's doing 3D printing right now. He's actually printing up a pin board for me that's going to be used at my shows to house the pins. It's got like a custom border on the top.
Wow.
And it has Killer 8 on it with the custom figures attached to it. And it's going to be a 2x4 pin setup. So I'm thinking about getting those mass produced so people can buy them themselves, put their pins on them, because all my pins come packaged with little hangers on them so you can hang them up on something.
Nice.
Just trying to find everything I can do with this IP to create a stronger line of products.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think figurines would be killer for this. I think you have all the right ingredients. It's just timing, and and so you have a captivated audience. They're hearing about this for the first time. Give us your elevator pitch. He's like, "Damn you, Sam!"
I gotta warm up on that. If you love 80s horror icons and pop culture, nothing's going to quench your thirst for horror better than the Killer Aid in humanely refreshing mixed drink.
Nice. Nice. She's like, "Damn you, Sam! I wasn't prepared for that."
They taught us all through school about elevator pitches. I've never got it down straight since.
Never
get it right.
It's funny because I was watching this business podcast, and this guy who's like the king of pitches. He's worth billions of dollars, and I'm always trying to figure out the right pitch, right? And because it's like, what's gonna be the difference between someone saying I want to hear more, or someone even walking away, right? And it's that pitch, and we don't know, and and it's always just a constant trial and error.
Oh
right?
yeah,
right.
I should write it down, but I never do.
Yeah. Yes. No. I think you have a great product. You have 28 days left. It's on Indiegogo. The link is in the chat, and guys, and also in the summary. Share it out. Recommend it to a friend. This is really cool concept. I mean, your art is fantastic. Are you ever considering doing an art of book?
Yeah. I'm actually putting together. I've got it in my head to put together a portfolio type illustration, like a comic book, perfect bound collection of all my artwork, including these and my graphic design and everything. Something I could use to pitch to potential employers.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think
it also comes off. It'll also come out as like an art book, so it's not just a professional. Here's my portfolio, but it's like, hey, this is a collected works of everything I've done. Enjoy it, look at it.
Right. Now you did say that you have a comic book coming out. Are you able to speak about that?
Oh yeah. Actually, it's a 100-page graphic novel. I did this in 2018. I wrote the story up with a buddy of mine. We took the idea, and a big, fat, chunky story. I sent it out to a friend of mine in California. He graciously scripted it out for me, all 100 pages. It's ready to go. So I started working on that 2019. Tried to do a crowdfunder for it. It failed, which honestly I'm glad it did, because I wasn't ready yet. I couldn't do 100 pages in what I was doing. So I didn't want to let those people down who pledged on it. But now I've got it restructured to where it's broken into issues. Issue 1 is almost drawn. And I'll be ready to launch a crowdfunder hopefully in the next couple months.
Nice.
But it's a story about a superhero, the world's greatest hero. Now I'm a cliche. I'm born in the 80s. I grew up in the 80s. I like the Superman characters, punch bad guys, simple stories. So mine is a mixture of the Superman ideology, invincible. There's tragedy. The hero's journey is what it's about, falls under. So our hero who has been gone, the world had lost a hero for 20 years. He's been MIA. He might as well be KIA, really. So the world is fallen into disarray. The governments have disbanded. The superhero unions have dissolved. Terrorists have taken over. Countries are fighting. We're total chaos. He's got to get back. He's been gone for 20 years. For all he knows, his wife, his kids are all gone. He's trying to get his way back to Earth. And the thing is, can he get back in time to stop the complete destruction of the Earth and, reintroduce himself and see if he can find his family? It's kind of the gist of it. It's just his struggle to get back to Earth. And then from there, we'll see how it goes.
Nice. That's fantastic. So now for everybody out here who wants to learn more about you, what are your social handles? Where can they reach you?
You can get a hold of me at The Art of Kevin on Facebook. And my website is artofkevin.net. And on Instagram is it's art_of_Kevin.
On Instagram.
Yep.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find you. I was trying to tag you. I forgot where I was trying to tag you, and I couldn't find you. I was like, all right, forget it.
That particular tag was not available for just Art of Kevin.
Right.
So there was the underscore all I had. I was like, oh man.
You're right. Awesome. Yeah, because it wasn't on your webpage.
Oh, it's not on my. Yeah.
You have your Facebook and your Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't find it on Instagram, because I found you on Twitter, found your Facebook, but I couldn't find you on Instagram.
The weird story about that is I had an Instagram page for I don't know, since 2009. And for some idiotic reason, I nuked it. I lost everything. I just deleted my Instagram page. I lost thousands of posts. Wow. I don't know what I was smoking when I did this, but I just did it. And I had to restart it with the new Art of Kevin. I'll tell you, that's my fault. I was an idiot. I should have done that.
Wow. That is
still
crazy.
Stupid.
But thank you again for coming on Catch the Craze. Obviously you're $12 away from funding, and you got 28 days. The sky's the limit for this campaign. Really, really fantastic art. The illustrations are great. You did a great job with this. And when you're ready to launch your next campaign, hit us up. Come back. We'd love to chat with you again. Glad you chose Catch the Craze to get the word out about kool-aid, because you're killing it.
I appreciate you having me on, man. I really do. And I'll be definitely hitting you up when I get ready to do the Apollo crowdfunding for sure.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks again.
I appreciate it, buddy.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. See you, buddy.
All right. So that was Kevin, and his concept is kool-aid. If you haven't checked it out already, give it a shot. Look at the art. It's fantastic. I'm going to cover my face for a second. Look at that art. Just amazing character design. Really killer. If he does an art of book, I love art of books. I'll be one of the first ones in line to grab one. His art is fantastic. So that was Kevin again. And, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching us, who's supporting us in 2021. 2022 is just around the corner. It's crazy. I just got here to Texas, and the year's almost up. It is nuts. But I do appreciate every single one of you. So does George. And we have so much in store for 2022. Again, we have our Christmas show this Friday. Don't miss that one. We have a What's in the Box this Thursday. And on Sunday, we have episode number 3 to the history of There's an Alien in My Toilet. So you don't want to miss that. It's gonna be an ongoing series until the day we launch on the 15th of February for the launch of There's an Alien in My Toilet. We hope that you'll be there. If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you subscribe, stay with us. Stay with us for the long haul. And we lost a couple of people this week. We're sorry to lose you. We hope you come back. And we appreciate every single one of you. And so thank you again. Have a safe, wonderful, happy holiday season. I've been watching Hawkeye because George recommended it. It's really good stuff. Remember to hug your loved ones. Call up those friends that you haven't heard from in a long time and just say, I was thinking of you. And be safe. With that said, Sam the Crazy Man Vera. And this was another episode of Catch the Craze. And I'm out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him.
Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.